Hello, this is You Transform Live. I'm John Hodge, your host for the Soul Design Show. Today we're going to be talking about aligning with your soul design for success and happiness. And I want to talk about this in two or three different areas. The first area we're going to be talking about what the chart really does for you, what soul design does for you, and what parts of your life it really helps in. And I have my chart sitting here in front of me. I use myself as an example. In upcoming shows, we're going to be having clients who want to go on with us and talk about their charts and talk about things we can all learn from each other. And so learning from their charts and what they have found in getting their soul design and how it's helped them in their life. So the first thing I want to talk about is a personal soul design. When we're trying to transform, this is all about transforming from what we are to something greater. So, some of the first things that we have to understand when we wake up is, we have to learn ourselves. We have to know thyself and really understand yourself. To go from a point of where you're at to where you're going, you'll have a vision of where you're wanting to go in a way. But it sure does help if you know and understand who you are, what your proclivities are in life, what is your power? I call it, what's your personal power? What are your divine qualities? And those things that stand out and really help you down the road in your personal journey. So, so from a personal standpoint, aligning with your soul design, really who you are, knowing yourself and really knowing who you are, helps you to make the transition and the changes to align to your perfection toward a manifestation or a goal that you've set out for yourself. Your future vision, let's say. What happens is if we really don't know ourselves that well, we can have a future vision, but what happens to us is we get bogged down and we get frustration and some bitterness and some things going on in our life. And at times we really don't know why things are happening to us the way they are. And it creates it kind of bogs you down as you're moving through this process. So it's very helpful to know yourself, to have that good vision, and use the positive qualities of yourself to navigate and create changes in your life to navigate to that vision, along with letting things come to you from the quantum field or the source, bringing things to you. So you're really in your power, you're in your joy, you're in the flow, and things are easier that way. You're still going to have challenges. You can know your soul design and we still have challenges, but it really helps us to navigate our challenges in a more fruitful way and not have so much frustration as we're going through. So we still get that soul growth, but we don't have to suffer as much and have as much pain. So that's what knowing the soul design does from a personal standpoint. Now I talk about there's also a standpoint of relationships. If you understand who you are, you can stay in the positive side of yourself when you're navigating your relationships and you're working with people in relationships. Places that you don't need to go yourself. And you know that when somebody says something to you in a certain way, it's one of your triggers. So you're awake and aware, and your chart helps you to navigate who you are. Now, one of the things that's really, really helpful is to not only have your own soul design, but have your partner's soul design. And if you're in a relationship with someone, a deep relationship, you can get the soul design for your partner because they're directly affecting your energy in a very dynamic way. So you can get your husbands or your partners or whoever's soul design that you're living with them, and they have a direct effect. So not only can you discover who you are, but you see who your partner is. Now, the best circumstance would be for you and your partner to have a soul design together and have an unpacking together. That way, we can look into each chart, and then you see why you're so happy and intertwined in some things, and then other things where you have some struggle in your life or in your relationships. You see why that is. So it's really helpful to know how to navigate each other's energies. It's a tremendous tool. So not only do we have personal, we have relationships that we can do these designs in. And the other thing that I really recommend that I've done in my family is I've done my entire family from a personal standpoint, and you can do that. You can have a design done for your children, your spouse. If you're caretaking, and I've done this, I'm also a caretaker, so you can do this with parents and in-laws. When you're in a direct relationship with them, you're taking care of them, their well-being. You can get a design for someone like that. And it's just so helpful to understand and know, this is how I am, and this is how they are. And this is why I butt heads with them, or this is why my child is doing what they do. It's a huge eye-opener to do your children's charts, and then you understand why that child wants to be in the room by themselves all the time, or or they talk continuously. These are all qualities and types that show up in the charts. So it's so helpful to understand that about your family. So it's relationship wise, it's huge. It's big just for you and your soul growth, but it's huge for you and your direct relationships. Now, if they can enter into this with you in a knowing way, that's very helpful. But if they can't, you still are able to do that. We can't do anything outside of that. It has to be someone specifically that is directly in a deep relationship with you that you're working with or living with. We can do designs for that and for children. So it's a huge help to do that. So I'll talk about myself a little bit personally. I rocked along for a lot of years before I put together the current system that we have. I've done parts of this, and like I've said before, I didn't really know what all this was going to be, but my guides have helped me bring this together into this comprehensive design where you can see everything, and you can see when your soul was made, what's the primary qualities of your soul energetically. This is all about energy. All of this is about energy. There's no, the reality is energy. So it's all in terms of energy. So you find your primary and your second energy and all the other energies that are associated with you at this time, from your soul journey up to this point, and also the design you have when you come into the earth realm in this lifetime. So I kind of had an inkling of, I knew I was strong in some areas. I knew I'm a love and order person. I knew I was good with order, but it didn't really come out fully at me till I did my chart, and found out that order is one of my primary. It's not my primary; it's my secondary quality. But primary and secondary qualities are really closely together in the percentage of energy that I have, through my design. So when I figured out I was this order person, I understood why I had strength in an area, and I also began to understand how I was doing things in a negative manner with my order. So, trying to control situations to have the order that I want would be a negative outline for that. I'm trying to control someone else's activity because I want it in my order is not the way to do that. You need to be, I need to use my order in a positive way, a loving way, and one that upholds, other people's rights. They have the right to do their thing, and recognize that. So, have understanding that I'm an order person and that it has positive and negative characteristics was very, very helpful to me, because I began to understand how to use my order in a divine way. And my other one was love. And I had a suspicion that I'm always looking for unconditional love and peace in everything that I'm doing. So I had an ideal, but there's positive and negatives to everything. And when I turn away from that love, it really slows me down in my progress and makes me uncomfortable. And that's one of the things that you'll notice. If you're hitting the negative sides, you'll begin to feel uncomfortable and uneasy in what you're doing. If you're in your flow of your primary and secondary energies, you feel there's an ease in what you're doing in your life and how you're doing it. So that's kind of something to watch. Is my life at ease? Am I in my qualities? But it even helps more if I know what my qualities are. Those are the things I can center what I'm doing around, and the divine qualities of those primary energies that I have, love and order in my case. When I centered my life around that, my manifestation abilities increased dramatically, because I'm in my power, my energy, that power. If your communication and manifestation, or just as an example, you would be when you're writing, or you're communicating through some medium or whatever to other people, using the power of your words and your voice, and you're manifesting with that, would be very powerful. Something that would not be so powerful for you is if you're using that communication in a negative way, or you're not being allowed, you're not in the right place for your voice to be heard. I have so many clients that's a very, very, I see that in lots of communications with people with communication centers, is they're not in the right place. They're not doing the right thing, not in the right job, not doing the right thing, and their voice is not being heard at all. They're being suppressed in what they're doing, and it creates a lot of anxiety and a lot of bitterness and frustration in a communications person if they can't get their voice out. A manifester becomes ungrounded if they're not able to be physical. If they're just sitting at a desk all day, not really doing a whole lot, a manifester needs to be physical. They're a physical person. They're on the go. They love athletics. They're creating, building things in their way. Okay, there's different ways to build things, but they're creating new things in it, and they're physical. And for a manifester, I meet manifestors that are wilting because they're not being physical or active enough. They're shut down because of some of the environments that we have, are sitting at a computer desk all day. They're in the wrong job. They're trying to do some function that they're just, the physicality of it is suppressed. So these are some examples. There's, depending on your energy centers. And we will be talking about those in future shows. We'll be going through some of the energy centers. So when you know who you are, it's what we're saying. It's really helpful to help you generate the joy in your life. If you know who your partner is, and you understand that they're a communicator or an order person. Let's talk about that for a second. What if you're in a relationship? I'm an order person and my wife is an order person. Now, before that, I didn't know before I did her chart, I didn't know what she was. So we bumped heads a lot because she's trying to create order in her life and so am I. So she wants order her way and I wanted order my way. So we're sitting there clashing all the time. No, it's my way. No, it's your way. Okay. And this constant back and forth of wanting to do things the way that we want to do them. But after the charts, I understood that, hey, I'm here with another order person and she wants to order things the way she wants to. And as soon as I knew that, it helped me to navigate my relationship. I knew that that's what's going on, and I'm able to step back and go, okay, I'm all right with that. I can allow that and be all right with it. So the power of this is, depending on what your qualities are, you can be bumping heads with your partner at times, and you don't really know or understand why that is. And when you both know your primary and secondary energy centers, or even yourself, you can make conscious decisions about being loving and allowing for that person. And it just creates so much better relationship when you understand these things and you don't get angry about what's going on. So knowing those energy centers is important. We have the Earth Realm profiles that let us know how you're set up to navigate in the your archetypical energy, which mine is priest. So I can get out and talk to large groups. I can be preachy sometimes, so I have to be careful not to be in preacher mode. And I see things from a big picture. Priests tend to see things from a big like a 50,000 foot view in a bigger way, kind of visionary style. And so I didn't know that about myself before I had the design. But when I read the qualities, I'm going, yeah, I'm kind of like that. And I could kind of see where I was making mistakes in some of the things that I was doing. After knowing your role, that's called a role, your archetypical role. The next three things that I'll talk about are fairly important for you to understand about yourself and your partner. The first thing is in my chart everybody's chart here is goal. Goal is something that you work with throughout the life to try to master it. And then we have a mode and an attitude that goes along with it. And that's what really makes it interesting is the mode and the attitude. My goal is acceptance. So I'm working on being accepting and allowing. It's kind of like that order thing where we were butting heads with order. I had to learn to accept and let go and allow that's okay if her order is different than mine. It's okay if, I step back now. I let her have her order and it doesn't bother me anymore. So I've learned how to accept what's going on and accept other things into my life. So I've been working on that throughout my life. That was my goal. to learn how to accept things and let go, and let stuff come into my life and be okay with it. So that thing in my relationship really helped me to break through on that and not be butting heads all the time. The next thing is mode. Mode is how I go about looking at things in my life. Working on acceptance, my mode is reserved. So what I'm going to do is, in a reserve mode, I'm going to bring that stuff in, and really I'm going to internalize it. So I'm going to internalize whether I want to do this or not. And in a reserve mode, that's pretty well true of me. I have to go in. I have to process stuff. I'm going to hold back. Okay, I have to process it. I have to hold it back and process it before I act or make an action on it. So I had to learn how to accept things, hold back, accept things, and then determine how I'm going to move into this and solve it in a way that is good for me and my relationship, or anything else I'm doing in my life, really. And beyond the mode is the attitude. Attitude is the emotion, the feeling, the intent, that it's my attitude toward what I'm doing. And in my case, it's spiritual. There's 7 categories, but I'm talking about today is spiritual. So I see my attitude is through a spiritual lens. Spiritual lens is not just spiritual information. Spiritualist is a person who sees things in a large way. Also, looks at things in a large scale view. Has wide vision, greater vision. Spiritualists do get into spiritual, are more metaphysical, more looking at things through that lens, are more open. I would say if the biggest thing that in my life being a spiritualist is I'm very, very open. I look at everything, and I don't just say, well, it's this way. I'm more apt to look at it and see if I want to, through my reserved nature and my acceptance, do I want to accept this as something in my life? I'm more apt to do that in a wide view. So there's 7 different attitudes. Also, you could be like a skeptic. You could be someone who questions everything. And I've worked with skeptics, and a skeptic is an attitude that is, they're skeptical about everything. They're going to question everything 40 times before they do something. In fact, I've worked with one individual who, and this is a family member, I'm not going to, of course, not say who, but uses caution. They're using caution as their mode. So they're cautious and they're skeptical. And I didn't know that when I was first dealing with this loved one in my family. And it was very difficult because I make decisions really, really fast. That's another part of one of my characteristics is I'm a manifesting generator, and I can make decisions very, very fast and move on them. And this person doesn't want to make a decision. I mean, just finds 40 different reasons not to do something. And it was very frustrating till I did the chart and found out this is the way my loved one is. And then it made all the sense in the world. And I knew how to navigate in a way that I'm not hurting them, creating a pain in them as we move forward. So really important. Those are really important things to understand. The last thing that I want to talk about is human design. And that's another really important area of the charts that we do. We have the soul, the original soul blueprint that we're doing. the energy centers, your soul origin. And then we have the earth realm profile, which I just talked about a bit. And then we have human design. And the human design is the schematic, the energetic schematic for your body is really what it is. And we look at the one thing that people really need to know when they do their charts and kind of understand it is it's going to be your type. There's 5 types, and all 5 types operate a little bit differently. But we want to understand our type, how we operate, and all of these types have a strategy, and you want to learn your strategy along with the other information that I talked about that's really important. Your energy centers, your earth realm, your goal, your mode, your attitude, and your chief obstacle. I didn't talk about that. Your chief obstacle is the thing that you keep bringing up in your life to create a catalyst for movement forward. Mine is self-destruction. So there's lots of different ways to self-destruct. Mine, I've used lots of different techniques to create a catalyst in my life, good and bad. So self-destruction, there's many others: arrogance, greed, martyrdom, impatience, stubbornness, self-depreciation, to name a few. Those are things that we could pick as a chief obstacle. So we want to know our earth realm profile. It gives us the information on our archetypical energy and how we view things, the mode, and the goal, and the mode, and the attitude. And then our chief obstacle gives us good information on how we react and think to things. And then we go into our human design, and our human design, we want to know our type. So if we know our type, we know how our energy engages with ourselves or others, and we have an ideal of how we're best suited to operate our energetics in a positive way, to be successful with the engagement of our energy, and not get into an area we don't need to be in by making judgments and doing things we shouldn't be doing. Some types can engage right away with something or somebody, and other types need to wait and get a gut instinct on whether they need to do something or not. Sometimes projectors need to wait to be recognized and invited in to do something. So we give you your type. So that's the other thing that I find really handy is I know my type. I know all my family's types, and of course all my clients. So if I know the type, I know how they need to engage, and I know the ins and outs of that help me navigate when I'm working with someone with what type of person they are, what human design type they are. So I take all those factors into consideration. And anyway, that helps me to navigate my life. I know I know my strategy. I know what I'm supposed to be doing to move forward in life. I know how to deal with my partner, my wife, the best way to be in a loving, an unconditionally loving relationship. A conscious relationship is really what we're talking about. I know how to be in a conscious relationship with my wife and with my family. I understand their human designs, and I understand why they say the things they do and do the things they do. So it's not a shock to me. It's not I know how to navigate that with them and help them and just be loving to them. And it doesn't, when they used to in the past, it would concern me when somebody did something and I didn't understand why they're doing it. But now I have a fairly good understanding of what's going on, and it doesn't bother me as much. So when we first learn this, all of it's kind of, it can take a little bit of study and understanding, but the more you work with this and have it in your awareness, every day, this is in my awareness, and my life operates like this. Understanding these things in my life makes my life much easier. I've dealt with so many people now that I can see qualities. I see qualities in people, and I see I can recognize their type without even doing their chart. I've done so many, and I understand everything. And you can get that way. You'll get to where you understand, a person's type pretty quick. And it just really helps you to be able to navigate in business, family life, friends, just whatever you're doing. It's just so helpful to be able to just understand the basics of soul design and make your life put a whole lot more. You have a whole lot more joy in your life, and your relationships will be so much better by knowing this. And you can transform yourself, and with a whole lot less frustration and bitterness from point A to point B. You know yourself very clearly, and you know how to navigate through there using your power, which is the positive aspects of your soul design reading or your chart. So that's an overview of how to have success and happiness, really aligning with your design, or why you would want to, why you want to, and why your relationships would really improve if you can do yours. You can do a family members without their permission. You have the right to do that. It's better if you have someone's permission and y'all will work together. But at least if you do that, you understand them better, and makes things a whole lot better. So hope you've enjoyed today's live. Starting next week, we're going to have the opening show for what we call the Soul Design Show. And we're going to have a guest on the show where we go over their design, their human design. And I will have a co-host with me, Miss Crystal Fox, who is working as a soul design specialist with You Transform now. And we'll be working with one of our You Transform members and their soul design. So I think you'll find that very interesting and helpful. And if you want to get a soul design, go to youtransform.com and sign up for a soul design reading and unpacking. And we'd love to help you that way if we can. Last but not least is please like and share this video if you that will help us out. And blessings to you all. And I'll see you in the next live stream or video.